channel. My name is Sharon, and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. When my daughter was 5 and my son was 2, I was actually still with my ex at the time, we decided to go to Walt Disney World. Now, I was so excited to go. I was elated. I had abundant joy flowing out of me. I really wanted to take the kids to Disney when they were young, and I thought particularly that my daughter at age 5 was the perfect Disney age, because she was old enough not to believe that all this was real, but she was young enough to still believe in magic. And she was so into princesses, it was going to be perfect, and I couldn't wait. I was so excited. I was gonna dress her up in her favorite princess outfit, and I was so excited. However, at the same time, I had a weight of agony that brought me to my knees. We had one dog, our Pock, and at the time, we have more now, but I had just Pock at the time. The thought of leaving him in a kennel, and that was my only option, was agony. I was literally distraught. I'm picturing my dog thinking he's abandoned, like he's just in the corner, no one's paying any attention to him. He's miserable, he misses us so much, and why do we abandon him? And I would just feel it in my stomach. And I thought, I can't. It got so bad that it actually competed with me wanting to go to Disney in the first place. But of course, I wasn't going to let my kids down. I'm a mom, just like you guys are, your dads. Like, you're not going to put your own feelings of fear or dismay over your kids' feeling of joy or happiness. This was something I had to deal with. I wasn't going to have my kids never go on a vacation because, mommy didn't want to leave the dog. That was ridiculous. But it was something I had to do because I wanted my kids to have an exciting life. I wanted them to be happy. The reason I'm telling you this is because something happened recently, last week, that reminded me of this. I want to start a new series on single parents. I'm probably going to do several videos. So if there's something that you want me to talk about as a single parent, it can be, mother, father, both, whatever it is. I'm going to bring Joe on too, and he can talk about some things from a male perspective, because there are differences. Being a single mom, there's one thing I hadn't, before I was a single mom, I never thought about this issue. But I think it's important to talk about, especially if you're a single mom and you're dealing with this like I am. It's not as bad for me now, but I dealt with a lot of this in New Hampshire. Safety. When you are a woman, you have to deal with safety in a way that's intimidating. It is for me. You are the defense. You are the protector of your children. There's no one else there. If you hear a window break in the middle of the night, you are the one that has to deal with it. I thought so many times, now it's different with Joe, but with Joe here, but when I lived in New Hampshire by myself, it terrified me that it was me. I was the one that had to protect them. I had to protect my kids. When I didn't feel like I could protect myself, I just felt weak. I'm small, I'm thin, I feel very vulnerable, if somebody wanted to attack me. If my ex wanted to attack me, he'd win in a physical fight. And I knew that, and I was afraid. It got to the point, when I lived in New Hampshire, I had a nice house, and it was in a good neighborhood. There were 40 acres of woods behind us, though, and I caught my ex there several times, just walking through the woods. Because of that, he was a stalker, I was always armed. Not like carrying it on me all the time, but I slept with an armed weapon, a firearm next to my bed. If I went to go get the mail, I brought a firearm with me, because I felt unsafe. He had physically assaulted me before, and I had to make sure that everything was okay for my kids. I had to make sure that they were safe. So that's how I lived for 2 years, and it was horrible. I was reminded of that last week. So my daughter my daughter won tickets to a concert. We live about 2 hours from Pittsburgh, and she won 3 tickets to a concert for her favorite artist who was playing 2 hours away from here. She wanted to go. She wanted to go with me and her brother, and she's like, "Oh, can we go? It'd be so great, I could get the time off work. We could go." She was so excited. College had just ended. She just finished her last final, and I wanted to go. I wanted to go with her. I wanted to do this for her. But I was afraid because I don't know the city. So here I am as a single woman, going to a city I don't know. What if the hotel's not safe? Because if Joe was going with me, I wouldn't have these thoughts. What if the hotel isn't safe? Where's the concert? I don't know where I am. I don't know anything about this area. How are we going to get to the concert? And where are we going to park at the concert? And is it going to be a darkened garage? Am I going to be safe? And it isn't that I'm particularly paranoid, but I'm aware that everything falls on me. I'm the one that has to keep my family safe. And it's something that's it's different when I walk around with Joe. It's different. If Joe was coming with us, I wouldn't have been nervous, but I was, because I wanted to go, but I didn't. And my daughter, you guys, I'm really blessed. She's such a good young woman. She really is. She's been through a lot, and she's constantly helping me, constantly asking if she can do anything. I know she would give me the shirt off her back. She has a 4.0 in college. She's published books. I mean, she's a real superstar. And I wanted to make her happy. I wanted to do this because she's had to give up so much because of things that happened with the ex. So I wanted her to go, and it reminded me of when we were trying to go to Florida, and I didn't want to leave the dog. So with lots of encouragement from Joe, I ended up booking a hotel. We drove there, so Joe wasn't there, it was just me and the kids. We drove there. It worked out okay, because my fear where's the hotel? Is it in a safe area? It was. The concert hall, thank God, you guys, was right across the street. So we were able to walk there safely with a bunch of other peaceful concert goers. So it worked out okay, and then we were able to leave the hotel and come back home, and everything was great. I overcame a fear for my kids, just like years ago in Disney. But safety is something I think about a lot as a single mom. I really do, and I want to know, what about you? Because, not that I gave a lot of thought to being a single mom, before I was one, but I didn't think of this. I thought of finances, or, I thought of, kids, sons especially, not having dads and things like that. I never thought of a safety factor, but that's something I really deal with. When I was in New Hampshire alone, like I said, it is different with Joe. One night, the alarm went off in my house. You guys, I was terrified because there was no man there. I was, again, the safety issue. I'm the one that has to investigate all this. I'm the one that has to take care of it. So I can remember sitting on my bed, terrified, not knowing what to do. I could see that there was a problem in the basement, that something happened with one of the basement windows. And I'm thinking, should I just call the police? Should I get the kids and run? My room was on the first floor, the kids were on the second floor. Should I leave the downstairs and go upstairs? And what about the dogs? And what should I do? And ultimately I decided that the best thing for me to do is to investigate. So of course I had my firearm, and I walked downstairs. Going down into a basement is terrifying at any time of night. But when you know that there's a problem with maybe somebody breaking into the house, I can still feel it in my stomach right now while I'm telling you. I went down there, and it worked out okay. It was a sensor had fallen from the window. But this was another thing. It's so difficult to be a single parent. And I'm in a better position than a lot of people because I live with Joe, so we're kind of doing it together. But I was a single parent for several years, and I still am to a large degree. Joe isn't my kid's father, but it's very difficult. And sometimes I struggle with things, particularly regarding my son. I did a video recently. I'm having some trouble with him, not him, but me, my emotions with him growing up. His 18th birthday is coming up, and I'm struggling with that a little bit. And I realized, I feel like I struggle raising him because he doesn't have a dad. Children need a mom when they're younger. You need the warmth, the nurturing of a mother while you're growing up when you're a small child, those Disney years I was talking about at the beginning. But as the kids get older, especially boys, they need a dad. And when you're a single mom, you can't be a dad. As much as you want to help your child, as much as you want to do everything for them, it is literally impossible. And I struggle with that because I want to make sure he's okay. I had heard stories before of people who didn't have a dad, and men who didn't have a dad, and it really, really messed with them. And I don't want that for my son. It's scary. It's scary to think about. I heard Ray Lewis, he is, I guess he doesn't play anymore. He's a Hall of Fame professional football player. And he had mentioned that losing his father, not having a father, he's like, well, actually what he said is, when you're a young man and you have a living father who chooses not to spend time with you, there's no worse pain than that. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my son's going through that. And at the same time, he's going through trauma from what he witnessed. So am I, so is his sister. And he's in a new location and he lost all his friends, he lost his house. And then I start thinking, oh my gosh, like I've ruined my kids. And it's very discouraging, and it's not a good feeling. So I want to talk to other moms. You know, when I first learned about narcissism, knowing that there were other people who understood, who knew, it was a comfort to me. So let's see if we can help each other. Is this something you struggle with? Safety when you're a single mom. You are the line of defense. And what else? What about raising a young man? Is this something that you find more difficult? Let's talk about it. And I really would love to interview someone. If somebody wants to come on the channel as a single mom and talk about this, please let me know. I'm thinking about making more videos with Joe about this. I just think it's a good topic, something that I just never thought of, safety, and it's so obvious as a single mom, but it's hard, it's difficult, and it puts you in a very vulnerable position because you have to be the strong one, even when, you know, like in my case, sometimes I feel like I couldn't even protect myself, and here I am, I'm supposed to defend myself and my kids, and it's not the greatest feeling. So tell me what are the difficult things for both a man and a woman, and what you would like to hear me talk about as we go on. And if you want to be interviewed, let me know. All right, I hope everybody has a great week. Bye.